Come on over here while you look like that. It'll help my broadcast. You get more views. All right, this is Tony Dattino. Good morning. It's another week in the month of June. Starting off with my Live with Tony and reflecting on the Zoom calls I've had over the last week. It has really been interesting to see and talk with people that are interested in the USA Memory Championship and want to be the best that they can be at it, and want to know what those little fine-tuning tips may be, and some of the things that they can do to and prove to themselves that they can, in fact, learn to improve their memories, and what are the skills and what are the practice habits and how would they go about doing it. So it's really been encouraging to getting the message out to people to realize you can improve your memory. And given the fact that there are skills and mnemonics and different things that you can learn, I'm talking to the people this week, it was interesting, they've read books. So, okay, I've read this book, and I know of the books that they've read. And they even subscribed to the USA Memory Championship website and had the Maximum Memory Mastery online course. And it's been always interesting to me, even how finite the USA Memory Championship course is in helping you with names and faces, or remembering lists of things, or numbers, or comprehension of reading material, or how to network with people and remembering names and faces. It's always interesting that when they want to take that next step. So now, this has been great. I've learned something. I can apply these things. I've got 50 anchors for my Wokai method of memory. I can remember, 50 digits and using the techniques that I use. I can remember names of people. Now I want to take that next step. I want to compare myself to people who you call mental athletes. And so it's really interesting to look at what they're doing and taking the online courses or the books that they read and wanting to go to that next step. So it reminded me of a conference call I had with MIT last week where we're talking about 500 people challenge. So how can you remember the names and details of 500 people? That there are fundamental skills and techniques, but that the individual has to decide to what goal and to what purpose that I define I would call success. So the first thing I always ask people is, what is making you want to learn how to improve your memory? What's your driving force? What's the energy that you plan to put behind this? Because this is like learning any new skill. This is not a 5-minute, let's take this 15-minute course, let's read this book, and now it's all done and happily ever after. So the first assessment that I'm always trying to make are people truly desiring, do they have the heart? I call it the heart. Do they have the heart and the head to want to improve? Is there a strong motivation, as I call it, a good definition of what they're defining to themselves as success? And my assessment in doing that is to say, is their head in it, meaning they're going to want to learn the skills, and is their heart in it, meaning they're going to put the time and the effort and the energy to apply and utilize the skills. And so I had 2 really terrific Zoom calls last week with people who have convinced me that they are in that boat. That, hey, I do want to improve my memory. I do want to put the time into it. I do want to learn the skills, and I can see applying them. So the first gate we pass, which is saying, okay, now we have some bodies that are willing to learn, who in fact have tried to learn, but are not getting the performance and the efficiencies that they expect. So in both cases, they were surprised to find out when I talked about the USA Memory Championship, because they both entered. So they're both actually on the Memory League site, and they're practicing, but they're not getting the efficiencies that they want. And when I shared with both of them, realized these are timed events. And they were like, whoa, wait a minute, you mean I don't have, no, you don't have an infinite amount of time. Each of the events that we put you through in the qualifying rounds are timed in the 5-minute range. And so what we need to work with is in your, for example, in the loci method, how do we sequence your anchors? So it's like I've got 50 anchors, but then when I hit a word on the practice list that's abstract, I kind of blank out and I skip over it. And I say, well, as soon as you skip over it, you're done in the competition. So like, whoa. So how do we teach people to retain abstract words that are in the competition? The second thing that was interesting is, okay, we break this into pieces to define what I call a process. What is your mental process for how you link and connect different information that you want to retain for the longer term in your particular brain? And experience has taught me over the years of running and teaching that as much as we'd love to say one size fits all, there are different ways that people learn different skills and techniques. So there's a whole lot of different ways people retain and recall numbers. I learned last night there's a whole different way of remembering the name of a person, which was interesting at a dinner conversation I was having. And I'll come back to that in a minute because I found it fascinating. So how do you get people to find their own personal system and process that becomes the most efficient for themselves? And that's what we start to talk with people. And Michael Dattino has just been phenomenal at this. I mean, he has taught me, and I've been at this for 30 years, and he's been at it a good while of time. He's over the 10-year mark, but he's now personally coaching and teaching people. He's done the Columbia, MIT, Princeton study, and he's working with the Memory Institute in Dr. Phillips, Florida. And he's getting hands-on experience every day, every week. And as he's getting this hands-on experience, he's learning that different people at different stages of their learning, in different stages of their lives and memories, there are different twists and different turns that you put to things so that they have a stronger bond to their retention, and therefore they're able to recall. So those were the calls that I had last week that really prompted me to think about, people need to learn and understand that memory is, as I always say, a verb, meaning there are actions that you can take, and what's more unique is that they're unique to yourself. The actions that you take, or a path that you take to a place, a trail, may be different than the trail or the actions that I might take if I were given the same goal of reaching a destination. And so finding that out for each individual does a little analysis. It's not hard work. It's just talking to them. And so as I was talking to one of the two people and learning about, well, I've got these anchors, but then how he was applying those needs a little tweaking. So he's got part of the process down. Well, I read the book, and here's what the book said. And so he's read the book, but the book's not personal to him. So reading books or taking our online course gets you in the game. And what he wants to do is win the game. So that was one person. Another person is like, wow, this is really impactful, and I can see how I can use this in my work every day. And so you've taught me some skills. Not only can I adapt those skills to purposes of competing in the USA Memory Championship, but boy, I can see where I can use these when I am talking and meeting new prospects, or how I can comprehend policies that I'm reading and better retain those, so when I'm speaking at a conference or a meeting, I can sound like I've got it, and I really comprehend it, and I understand it. And so so the whole purpose of the USA Memory Championship is then to be able to take the skills and bring them into life. It's not just, gee, I want to be a nerd, I'm a spelling bee expert, and therefore I can spell words. No, I want you to be able to comprehend what those words mean. What does it mean as you comprehend literature? What do they mean in terms of as you go about talking with people and doing professional things in your life, or academic studies within your life? And that was the nature of the two of the calls that I had this past week. I've got two more scheduled for the coming week. And I've got a whole series of questions that we went through in my I call them my interviews. I'm trying to make sure that Michael Dattino is working with people who are serious about wanting to improve their memory, whether they want to be mental athletes in the USA Memory Championship is a byproduct of that, but that are serious, that in their lives it's important that they learn how to improve their memories, their comprehension, their ability to communicate their thoughts, how they create new ideas, how they bring those ideas to action. And that's really what the whole purpose of the USA Memory Championships is about, is to get people on that starting platform. And so it's been a delight to talk to the two people that we worked with last week, and I'm looking forward to two new people that we'll be working with in the coming week. And as I go through my Live with Tonys this week, I'll share some of the insights that hopefully are helping you. If you're taking the time to listen to my Live with Tony, then I would want to make sure that you're taking away a nugget from it that's helping you make a difference in something that you're doing in your life. And off we go. It's a new week, and my goodness, what's going on this week? We're moving closer to 4th of July and vacations and celebrations and weekend barbecues and all kinds of things, and I just can't believe the time is going by so quickly. And if you may not be able to see this here, I'm up in New York, and I went to one of my favorite places on Arthur Avenue in the Bronx, and found a store with a New York t-shirt and a Statue of Liberty. So I'm wearing a New York t-shirt today. So I'll be getting back to Florida at some point. It's just not on the calendar in the next week or so. Have a great day, and let's start the week off on the right foot. Think about something you may be able to do to start to focus on what might I be able to do to help improve my memory and how I interact with people on a day-to-day basis. Have a good one. We'll see you on Wednesday.